Okay, hello and good day to everyone that is really tuning in here at the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. Once again, I'm going to be the host for today's episode. My name is Dwayne, and once again, we have yet another exciting episode, this time with an amazing guest. And I guess I'll let her introduce herself, but her name is Cynthia. Cynthia, how are you doing today? And hopefully, you're having a wonderful day.
I am good. It's a gorgeous day. I'm here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, looking out at the beautiful mountains and a bright sunny
Oh,
sky. So all good.
oh. How's the weather in Albuquerque?
Right now, it's unseasonably warm. It's a
Mhm,
beautiful, it almost feels spring, even though we're just early in March. We're going to be
mhm,
in the mid 60s today, so it'll
mhm.
be gorgeous.
Okay, a really great day. But personally, though, what is the perfect temperature for you in terms of living?
I like tepid. I'm in the 74 to 79 degrees. That's really my sweet spot.
I need to convert it to Celsius, but I
Yeah,
think
I don't
that's
know that conversion either.
yeah,
Good luck with
but
that.
that's definitely not cold based on my initial things. But yeah,
It's
I
not
mean, if
cold
you're,
and it's not hot.
I see. And I guess to get started, I might hit it off with the first question for you. So, how did you get started in the business and real estate in general?
Well, I actually used to live in Los Angeles. I had a company called LA Concierge, and
Hmm.
one of the a few of the things that we did, we were basically personal assistants for people on a part-time basis instead of people that wanted to hire full-time staff. So
Hmm.
we would do just about anything. I mean, it was, we could pick up your dry cleaning or fly a wedding cake up to San Francisco. I mean, we kind of did pretty much everything. And one of my clients was a real estate broker. He was
Hmm.
on a team with his mother and his sister, and they used to hire me and my staff to work open houses. If they were going to have like a cocktail hour type of open house for a large property or something, they would
Hmm.
hire our team and we would help out, with their parties. And then after a while, I was looking to do something different other than LA Concierge. And in a conversation with them at a party, they had said, "Oh, we're going to need to hire your team and you for another
Oh.
project." And I said, "Well, this time it actually might be me personally doing it because I'm looking to get into something else." And they basically
Mhm.
said, "Oh my gosh, we would love to have you as our assistant on our team. We'll pay for you to get your license and we will get you geared
Uh-huh.
up." And I did that for about 2.5 years. And then after that time, I realized it was time for me to go out on my own. And that was in residential real estate.
Mhm.
And now, all these years later, I'm in commercial real estate
Mhm.
in Mexico.
Okay, that is an eventful party for you, for you to like go to that
Yeah.
direction. I mean, how long have you been handling your previous business before you got into real estate?
I had LA Concierge a total of 12 years, and I overlapped for about 2 years.
12 years though. I mean, it must have taken you quite a decision to like focus on that, on the real estate side of things. So what did you see in real estate that, that made you focus there instead of like focusing on the previous business that you've had?
Well, the previous business that I had was, I mean, again, it was in Los Angeles. So a lot of, we'll just say, high demand people
Mm-hmm.
that, would be somewhat unrealistic at times. And after a while, some of those demands just got a little out of control. I mean, I walked in at one point, one of my employees was on the phone with a client,
Mm-hmm.
and my employee was in tears, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh my gosh, what happened? And it was this client who was just unrealistic, going off on this employee, and she was a very good employee, and I
Mm-hmm.
literally had to fire the client right then and there. And it was just, I just reached that threshold where I thought,
Mm-hmm.
it's time to move on and do something else. And
Uh-huh.
real estate was always attractive to me. I have a degree in interior design, so I always loved walking into,
Mm-hmm.
a new home, and I could see what
Mm-hmm.
what it could be versus
Yeah.
what it was. And so I always loved that part of it. So that was very attractive to me.
I guess a huge part of it is also to have like a healthy work environment, like good for your
Mm,
mental health, not
for
dealing with
sure.
stressful. Yeah, I mean, if it was a good, wait, you fired the client or the employee that was doing
I
those?
fired the client. Yeah,
I
no,
don't
the
say that a lot.
client
You fired
needed
the
to
client.
go. Yeah, I fired the client. I was like, you know what? You know, you can take your business elsewhere.
Hmm.
This is unrealistic in the way you're
Hmm.
handling this. And, you know, she did the best she could with the information she had.
Hmm.
And this client, I mean, it was a point, this client was doing this constantly. This was not a one-off situation.
Uh-huh.
This client constantly was treating and berating people. And
Hmm.
we had just reached the point where it wasn't worth the business.
That is amazing in your part, though. I mean, you chose your employee over business. I
I
mean,
chose
that
my
is good.
business.
Yes.
I,
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, I had employees that were ready to just revolt and walk out over that
Hmm.
one client.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's gonna give you a much huge a bigger repercussion if you kept that client
Yes.
then.
I mean, I
Hmm.
definitely supported my employees by all means,
Hmm.
but I mean, like I said, it was that client was just really obnoxious.
That must have been one heck of a client if it's that had.
Yes, she was.
Yeah. But yeah, enough of that. Now you're in greener pastures, I mean, in the real estate now.
Yes.
So, you're starting off in a pretty much new business environment in real estate. I mean, it's similar, getting clients to your previous business, but you must have done something to make it big in real estate, because you've switched from 12 years to, to switch over to a new business. So, what do you think was, I would say, your secret business superpower that made you, have your name in that in terms of in real estate, basically?
Well, definitely persistence. As I said, I was in Los Angeles. I moved to
Hmm.
New Mexico. I'm
Hmm.
originally from Santa Fe.
Hmm.
And I was doing residential in Los Angeles. I kind of came to New Mexico and was doing residential here as well. And it just wasn't clicking for me. It wasn't,
Hmm.
I didn't feel it was a good fit. So
Hmm.
through a series of connections and conversations with other people,
Directions. Yeah.
I ended up in commercial real estate. And that really took me to a completely different level. It was,
Hmm.
it just the with my business background and my real estate background, it really came
Hmm.
together for me in the connections. I understood the I'm in multifamily, I sell apartment buildings.
Hmm.
And it's just the perfect combination for what I do. And what
Hmm.
really has been my quote unquote superpower, I guess, is persistence. I mean, you just have to
Persistence.
keep
Yeah.
at it. You know, it's very easy when you're in sales of any type to get very discouraged. And
Yes. Rejections. The ones
yes,
like that.
exactly. And part of it is you've got to stay positive, you've got to constantly be growing and learning and just moving forward with, okay, that didn't work. You know, sometimes it's hard to take that rejection, but
Mhm.
you've got to get past it and, suck it up, buttercup, and move on to the next.
Yes. And another thing I wanted to dive into is, you've mentioned, even though we talk about you seeing real estate as a better switch in your career path or business direction, I'm sure that it's not all, rainbows and butterflies in real estate. So you pretty much had, problems, failures at least, but it's also a good way for you to learn from those mistakes. So if you have any notable or memorable mistakes that you've had in the past, and big things that you've learned for it, can you cite an example for us?
Well, one mistake that I did that, it's just one of those that you want to crawl under a rock,
Hmm.
and then later it ends up being a nothing. And it
Hmm.
was, I was sending over a listing agreement on a large deal, and I had sent over the wrong listing agreement for another property. And
Oh.
yeah, sent it to the wrong client. And the client that was supposed to get the correct listing agreement, um, the listing that I sent had a very low commission on it because we were doing a portfolio for this guy this other guy. So we had multiple properties in the portfolio, and each one was getting a lower commission than what we would normally charge. And when I realized, one, I had sent the wrong listing agreement to the wrong client, and now he has seen a very low commission. And I had to do a lot of damage control on that one, as far as, I sent the correct listing agreement, and I thought I would just wait to see if it was going to turn into something. And it eventually, when it did sort of, I can't say it really surfaced in a negative way. It was just an inquiry. He's like, hey, I happened to notice. And I said, well, you will also notice in the next coming weeks, we'll be listing 5 properties with that group. And that is the reason why, they were all coming out at once. So we negotiated the commission down. And it turned out to be, it was a good conversation that came out of it. And he was understandable and all of that. But it was in that moment that, for 2 weeks, I was just sick over it. And it was definitely one of those things that was a lesson learned. It's like, you don't need to sit on that stuff forever. It's like, yeah, you own it and just move on from that experience. And then it turned out to be literally a nothing as far as what I did. But it's just, first off, you've got to own it.
Yes, sometimes we tend to overthink things that you should just skim over. It happened, yeah, move on. It's not that big of a deal. You just think that it was, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Own it. I think that's the best way to.
Yep. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Okay, hopefully I'm audible now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear anything you said.
Yeah, I was muted, I guess. But yeah, okay, returning back. So I guess you pretty much had your hands full basically in working. I guess how many members do you have in your team right now?
Total team, there's probably about 12 of us altogether.
Mm-hmm. And when you started off in real estate, how many did you have?
Well, when I first started, I was by myself. When I went out on my own, I was part of a team in California. And then when I went out on my own, I was by myself doing everything. And then I brought on a part-time, like a shared assistant. And then when I moved into commercial real estate, the company that I was with provided, I was hired onto a team, the same team that I'm still on. And then in the office, I was also provided a part-time shared assistant as well. And then when we moved companies, our whole team moved over companies, and I am now in an office by myself. My team is all located in Phoenix. And so that was when I actually reached out to you guys and started working with a virtual assistant. And
I guess, you've pretty much had experience working with people remotely, basically. So I guess that kind of opened your thought to working with people even more remotely, because, you've mentioned virtual assistants. A lot of people could be skeptical about people with virtual assistants, knowing that, someone working in the other side of the globe and stuff like that. So I guess if you have any better explanation, and what made you make that decision to get a virtual assistant as part of your team?
It was, Deanne Dobsfloff is, very involved in Sphere Rocket. And she and I had lunch, and she basically opened my eyes to the possibilities and I already had a local assistant that I was paying that is also still on my team. But she's part-time. She's a stay-at-home mom. She's not looking to do anything full-time. And when Deanna and I were talking about the things that her assistants, and she's got multiple assistants, what all she's worked with them, it really opened my eyes to what I needed and what I could use. And so from there, that's when I started working with you guys.
It's quite flexible. And how was your experience? Like, especially during the first few weeks or few months, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of adjustment period that's going to be involved. So how was it?
Sure. It's a learning process on both sides.
Hmm.
There's a lot of, I went through three. I'm on my third assistant, and this
Hmm.
one has worked out really well.
Hmm.
And each time I realized, one, the interview phase is crucial. Those questions, making absolutely certain that you're clear in what you need and what you're looking
Hmm.
for. And even in the times that you're not clear maybe on what you need.
Hmm.
When I did my interview, I needed to make sure that whoever I was going to be working with could be flexible with me, because
Yeah.
my position constantly changes.
Hmm.
And I'm not always able to say you're going to do this, this, and this every single day, because it's not always the case. And
Hmm.
then the other thing was, I started after I had the first two, I kind of fine tuned my training process.
Hmm.
So I was able to put together documents that had, website links that they're going to need and the kind of
Hmm.
access that they were going to need.
Hmm.
And it took a while for them to get onboarded with my company, because
Hmm.
our company was very skeptical of, having VAs. And even though
Yeah.
there were a couple of us in the company that were using them, it's still a process to get them onboarded. But now once they're on board, they can reach out to tech support if there's issues, et cetera. And it's constant communication. And you need to realize that your assistant is not a mind reader. And the
Yeah.
more information you can give them and the more feedback you can give them as well, then the more they appreciate it. Like, hey, this didn't work out so well. Hey, you did a great job on this. I really like where you took this. I found that those are very helpful for both of us. It's not just a one-way street. It's both of us are learning how to work together and what is going to propel us forward. When I give her goals and so on, we need to work on this and let's get this done. It's communication is huge.
Yes, definitely communication. And, it's not like you're going to hire a virtual assistant, let's say a video editor. He could be the best video editor, but if you don't guide him or her on how to, your business, how your business work and how you want him or her to do his job, how to edit videos, yeah, it would be a disconnect. So you need to be, yeah, constant communication is the key. And as you mentioned earlier, having I I guess SOPs. I forgot. There's another term for it. Like the onboarding process needs to be really smooth as well. So I guess that's something that a lot of people who wanted to hire a VA should work on before hiring a VA, so they wouldn't be running around like headless chickens on their first day. So that's pretty much it. So it
Right.
would be really efficient.
Yes. Our onboarding process, just going through the company and everything, it took a couple of weeks. And so I had to make sure that she had everything that she could start studying, she could get, learning and understanding my business before the company went through their vetting process to get her on board.
But that aside, VAs can be really flexible and resourceful as well. Like you don't need to micromanage them. A lot of
No.
times they would research, they would actually study it on their own. And then, that's the amazing thing about, VAs. And we're quite happy to say that, Sea Rocket also do some prior training or some, let I guess workshops for them online to make sure that they're well equipped to before they get onboarded to the client. So that's pretty much one of the power features that we have in Rabbit. But
Mhm.
on a side note to that, I guess as a VA, other than being cost effective, basically, do you think that a VA can pretty much be competitive on having compared to a local assistant, considering that the tasks will work in both their work setup?
I think they're both equal. I mean, my assistant that I have here is basically virtual, but she does come into my office on occasion. But it's just a matter of, you know, I guess my VA is through Sphere Rocket, she is very efficient. Not that my other assistant isn't. She's also very efficient. They just do different tasks. So there's different things that I need them for. And my VA is full-time. So she is, you know, we're in communication. We're on Zoom a lot. She's there with me as I'm making phone calls, helping me take notes and follow up and all of that stuff. So they're what I'm using them for is very different. So I think they're both equally, you know, intelligent,
Yeah.
capable.
It depends on the person, and it depends on how you're going to guide them and do their job, if they're going to be efficient in the job. Again, that's pretty much it.
Finding the right fit is crucial.
Exactly. And before we continue on, we just have a short lightning round, just a quick set of questions if you still have time for that. But for now, we're just going to hit it off with a few seconds of a commercial break. So stay tuned, guys, and we'll be back after a few seconds.
Overwhelmed with work? Well, meet your new partner from Sphere Rocket VA. In just a click, get matched with a virtual assistant who handles all the tedious tasks. No in-person hiring, no extra office gear, just easy online help from our recruitment team. It's like having an extra pair of hands minus the hassle. So ready to relax and see your work done just like magic? Choose Sphere Rocket VA and visit us at www.sphererocketva.com.
Okay, and we are back at the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network with Cynthia. It's still nice to have you here, Cynthia. And yeah, as I've mentioned earlier, we're going to hit it off with the lightning round. So Cynthia, it's just a quick set of questions. So you ready?
Okay, let's do this.
Okay, for the first one, who is the most influential person for you and your business?
Oh, wow.
I mean, could be a celebrity, not just in your business, of course. Yeah.
I have a lot of people. I'm in a fabulous organization that I'm surrounded by a lot of very influential people in my business. I do have, without mentioning names, I do have some very close friends that are highly driven people. They are really focused on their business, and they're part of just a really tight-knit group of people that I can turn to whenever I have questions or issues.
Yeah. I'm not saying about people, I guess I worded it incorrectly, like influencers, if you know any.
Oh, you mean like a
coaches or anything? Or
well, I'm Rod Santamassimo, probably not someone that is known in the residential space, but in the commercial space, he's a very good coach. He owns a coaching business. He has been very instrumental. I'm in his coaching program. So he's who is coming to mind right now.
It's not something to look up for anyone. If it's not that well known someone to check out, basically. I guess I need to make it faster because I know you're kind of running short on time. So next one is favorite lead generation method.
Phone calls.
Phone calls. Okay. And next one is your biggest goal for this year, 2024.
My biggest goal for 2024 is to make more than I did in 2022. Sorry. That was my best year ever.
Combined? Just 1 year?
Yeah, to exceed what I made in 2022.
Oh, okay. I thought 2022 and 2023 combined to exceed.
No, I misspoke when I said 2022.
Okay.
Sorry. 2022 is my best year ever, and to exceed that.
Okay, setting a new record for yourself is good. And next one, your best Amazon purchase of this year so far.
You should have prepared me on this one. I mean, I don't even, I would guess, okay, all right, I know what it is. Okay, I reordered a book that I read back in the 90s called Success Principles by Jack Canfield.
The book, Success Principles. Okay, it really helped. I got someone else tell me that the massage chair was the best thing that you purchase over Amazon, but yeah, you have a book. So
I don't have a massage chair.
Yeah. Okay, I guess the last one, it's not really a lightning round question, but why do you do what you do beyond the money?
I love the connections, the conversations that I have with people, and I love putting deals together.
Yes, that's a simple answer to that. I guess it really helps that we're able to make connections and make people, make happy clients other than make them think that they're just a product to be selling things to, and it's priceless to have that those kind of connections. And I guess that's pretty much the last question that I have for the lightning round. I'm sorry, it seems longer than I should. And yeah, next time I would prepare you more for the question if it's pretty much, pretty fast. But yeah, before we end this podcast episode, I guess you can share about your business, the services that you and services that you provide, and how to contact you.
Well, I'm with Northmark Multifamily in New Mexico. Cover New Mexico and West Texas for multifamily assets, 100 units and above. My email address is cmeister@northmark.com, and that's CMEISTER at Northmark with a Q, NORTHMARQ.com.
Okay, we'll be sure to post that in the description once we got this uploaded. So Cynthia, it was amazing having you as a guest here at the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. I know you're quite tight on time, but yeah, if you have anything else you wanted to add or announce or say or give a shout out to.
No, I think you guys are great. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you as well. And I guess that with that being said, that is it for episode here at Sphere Rocket Podcast Network, and we'll hope to see you again in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone.